Good morning. We're going to be on the floor today. We're going to need a ball, or you can use socks or rolled up towel, a band, and some light weights. And if you don't want to do the light weights, you'll be fine because you're just going to be practicing working on your shoulders. We're going to go ahead, get on the floor on our back, feet shoulder width apart, and we're going to get started here. Nice tight abs. You're going to engage your abdominals, 3 fingers, and you're going to start poking the belly everywhere there's no bone. You have your transverse abdominis wrapped around like a girdle, and you're going to poke everywhere that there's no bone you're basically antagonizing the transverse abdominis, and it makes it contract to protect your organs. So this is just a nice little body hack to get the layer of muscle under your abdomen. Well, it's not under, it's the lower of your abdominals. You have 4 layers of abdominals, and this is the one closest to your organs, and it protects all your organs. So we want to make sure we tighten it because this is the beginning of that core we talk about all the time. It's getting this to learn how to engage and stabilize your hip from your rib cage. You're going to bring that hands down, and then we're not lifting our butt up off the ground, but we're going to be squeezing our pelvic floor. We have 3 major muscles there. So we're going to squeeze rectum, private area, urethra, hold, and then relax. Squeeze rectum, private area, urethra, hold, and relax. Squeeze rectum, private area, urethra, hold, and relax. You're going to squeeze rectum, private area, urethra, hold, and relax. Rectum, private area, urethra, hold, and relax. Rectum, private area, urethra, hold, and relax. 2 more. Rectum, private area, urethra, hold, and relax. Last one. Rectum, private area, urethra, hold, and relax. And that pelvic floor we're going to refer to quite a bit almost through all exercises. You'll hear me say shoulders back, tighten abs, engage pelvic floor. So this is something that needs to be in the repertoire of the setup of your own posture. Throughout the day, you should be able to stop and go, is my pelvic floor engaged? And if you can relax it, that means it was. And if you can't relax it, it means it wasn't. And it means you're putting all this instability on your lower back. We're going to move on, and we're going to work to bridges. If you're new, no weights on your hips. If you've done this before and you felt fine, it didn't hurt you, you're going to grab your weights. You're going to put them on your pelvic bones on the side above your thighs here. You're going to have your feet shoulder width apart, heels underneath your knees. Tuck your shoulders down, tighten your abs, tighten that pelvic floor, and then push through both heels, squeezing the butt, straightening it out. Basically, you want to think about your heels are engaging your glutes, and your glutes are straightening your hip. So if you were watching yourself as a skeleton, you would see when your butt's on the ground, it is folded. And when the butt is off the ground, it's straightening. The muscle that's straightening it is your glutes. And so we want those glutes, and the heels will activate the glutes. And this will make your hips stronger. This will make your legs stronger. This will help you stabilize better. And most wonderfully also, it really trains the glutes to take over from the back. And if you have back problems, this is one of your top tier exercises to do daily, because it trains the glute and that pelvic floor how to move your body versus your lower back doing all the work. Because when our glutes aren't working correctly, your lower vertebrae has to become the pelvic. It has to become the hip. And it's not designed to be a hip. It's this tiny little muscle, this tiny little bone attached to these tiny little muscles. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to bring those weights down to the side, and then we're going to hug your right knee to the chest, straighten your left leg, point all toes to the ceiling. Relax the neck and shoulders and just feel the stretch. The right knee is being stretched. The right hip is being stretched. Your lower back is being stretched. Left hip flexors being stretched, hamstring, calves. And then because we've separated the legs, your pelvic floor is also being stretched. And hopefully this will help with squats, that we can get your body right. The idea is try to get that knee close over that chest versus way high over the hip. You want to be able to pull it in. Then we know your body is going to be flexible enough to one day do a squat, but we still have to build up the ligaments and tendons for the strength to push your body weight up, and then excess weight that we tend to hold. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice tight abdominals. Bring the leg down, and then abs are tight, bringing the left knee up, and then straightening the right leg, all toes to the ceiling. Shoulders are tucked, and just relax and just really feel the stretch. We like to hold our stretches because the studies show anything less than 20 seconds is kind of just a capillary stretch. It's not really a transformative stretch. And we want to transform. We want ligaments and tendons doing what they're supposed to do. And just relax through this. This is just stretching all those muscles. Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and tighten the abs, bring that leg down. And we're going to move right on to torso stabilizer. So we're going to bring the right leg up to the ceiling, flex the foot, don't point it. Left arm straight up to the ceiling over the shoulder joint. Tighten your abs. You're visualizing your torso like a rectangle, and the 4 corners stay attached to the floor. You're going to bring out the right leg and left arm just a little bit, about 30 to 45 degrees away from your torso, and then back over the hip and shoulder joint. Again, you're not coming to the center of the body. You're really tightening your abdominals. This is forcing your obliques to not twist. Naturally, we want, when our leg twists, our hip wants to follow, and when our arm twists, our rib wants to follow. We're forcing them to stay still like a brick. That means your obliques have to hold all that resistance. So your side obliques are getting stronger, along with your arms and legs getting stronger. This is actually more of a core exercise than it is an arm and a leg exercise. And then you're going to check your bent knee, that it's not wobbling, trying to counterbalance you, that it's all happening inside your abdominals. Your shoulders are tucked down, so your neck's not trying to help you. And bring that leg down. We're going to go to the other leg. Nice tight abs, left leg straight up, flex the foot, right arm up, tuck the shoulders, nice tight abs. You're going to go out and then back in. And I'm going to just turn for anyone who needs to see how it's going. You're going to go out just a little bit, really tightening the abdominals, keeping the right leg nice and still. The bent knee is straight, and then, or it's not just straight, it's nice and still. And then we're just visualizing that cup of water on our belly. Is it nice and still, or is it splashing around? If it's splashing around, we're just not going to go as wide until we can lock down the abdominals. As time goes on, you're going to get stronger and stronger and be able to go out a little bit further, but you have to be able to lock in the abdominals and hold that hip and that rib cage still. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that leg and arm down. We're going to go ahead and we're going to grab a strap so that we can do our hamstrings now. So you're going to put it on your foot, straighten the leg first, nice and low, keep that knee nice and straight, and then slowly start to pull up until you feel that the back of the knee wants, or the knee wants to bend. Lower it just a little bit lower until you're nice and straight. The whole point is not just to have the foot high to the ceiling. The point is to straighten the knee and stretch out the lower glute and the back of the knee here. So we really want to pay attention that the knee is staying straight, not bent. because I'm not concerned that your foot can go to the ceiling. I'm concerned your back is nice and flat against gravity on the floor. Can you fold your hip with that leg nice and straight? This helps with your walking, so that that step that's behind you when you're walking forward and that leg is behind you, it allows it to straighten out so that you can create a nice launching pad for the next step. It also helps with plantar fasciitis, because they're learning now most plantar fasciitis is a tight back of the calf right at the back of the knee. And if that knee can't straighten, we know you're going to be at a high risk of plantar fasciitis later on, or if not now. So there's a method to this madness. You're going to tighten your abdominals, bring your left foot into the strap, remove your right foot, and then lower that leg so that you find that straight knee, tighten the abs, and then start to pull up. And you're going to notice one leg's tighter than the other. That's why we do this for such a long time, so that they have time under tension to just get a little bit straighter, a little bit better, because the longer we hold this, the longer those little ligaments and tendons will send out hormones going, this woman's crazy. She's going to pop that ligament off the bone. We need a thicker ligament. We need thicker density around that bone to anchor it down. So it's always comfortable, not painful, but we want time under tension so that the body responds that way. Just breathe and relax. Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then bring that foot down. You can set the strap to the side. We won't use it again, I think, until we do quads. We're going to get ready for marches. There are 2 levels to marches. Level 1, you're going to push your belly button and spine towards the floor. So now you're engaging the transverse abdominis, shoulders are tucked. You're going to bring alternate knees, keeping them 90 degrees with the foot flexed to the chest. And then you're just going back and forth. This is the one exercise on purpose you are pushing your back to the floor. All the other ones, you always push your belly button to the floor, and then you just hold that nice and still. But this one, the spine goes towards the floor. Your level 2, knees are over the hips, and you're going to tap alternate heels, driving the other one to the chest. So you're not just trying to come back to over your hips, you're going back towards the chest as the other one goes to the floor. So you've got one driving to the chest and one driving to the floor, all while pushing the spine to the floor. Again, if your back hurts doing this, release some of that tension and just do level 1. Practice tightening up your abs a little bit stronger to be able to handle that. And you have to breathe, because right now we're working your transverse. Hold on, we got 3, 2, 1. Come on down. So because we're pushing the spine down, we're working that transverse abdominis that we did with the poking. But you also have your diaphragm that's right above, right at the bottom of your rib cage. And so when you're nice and tight, that diaphragm kind of gets locked in there a little bit and feels like, oh, I can't breathe so well. So if you practice locking in your transverse abdominis and breathing, you're going to make your diaphragm stronger. And having a stronger diaphragm will help us be a big asset if ever we get sick. We'll be able to cough out that gunk. We're going to lower the risk of pneumonia because we can cough and breathe deeper breaths. So always, when you're tightening that transverse abdominis, practice breathing during it. Don't hold your breath. Okay, so we're going to go figure 4 stretch. We're going to put right ankle, left knee. If that's all you can do, stay there. And we're going to, if that's easy, you're going to push your right knee away from you without moving your spine or your hip. And if that's easy, you're going to tighten your abdominals, get your hands clasped behind the left thigh, straighten the left leg, flex the left foot, and just feel the full figure. This is a figure 4. And you're keeping those shoulders tucked. Don't squeeze the shoulders up to your neck. Remember, we've got to keep the ears and shoulders as enemies, because in between you have your big jugular vein that gets all that blood moving around, and you have your lymphatic system. And if you're all tight and knotted up, all those things get squished around and you don't have that free flow. So we got to keep that constant tension relaxed over there. Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that leg down. Nice tight abs. And we're going to put left ankle, right knee. And if that's all you can do, stay there. If that's easy, push the left knee away from you. If that's easy, nice tight abs, grab the right leg, straighten the right leg, flex the right foot, and hold the full figure 4. Do what level matches your hip comfort level. This is a stretch. This is not a torture device. So if you're feeling tortured, you got to go the next level down. If you're not feeling the stretch, you got to go the next level up. It's all about just slow, consistent progress. Shoulders are relaxed and we're breathing. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that leg down and down. Okay, we're going to get ready for ball twist. This is going to be working your side obliques again. So you're going to get a ball, a pair of socks, a little pillow, a rolled up shirt, a rolled up towel, any of those things, just something between the knees. That's all we have to get. So there's going to be 2 levels. Level 1, feet are together on the floor. And this is all about working the obliques. We're going to let gravity tip your thighs down just a little bit. You're going to tighten the abdominals, especially on the opposite side. So if I'm going down on the right, my left oblique is going to stop gravity. And then the left oblique is going to contract and pull my ball back to the center. I'm going to drop to the left. My right oblique stops it and then pulls it back to the center. This is very tiny movement, nice tight abs. Level 2 is ball over the hips, feet are flexed, let gravity tip you, tighten the obliques and pull back to the center. Drop to the left, tighten the obliques and pull back to the center. This is not how low can your legs go to the ground exercise. To do that, you would have to get your back and spinal cord at high risk movement patterns. If that is the exercise you want to do, have at it, but that would not fit our methodology today. Ours is we're trying to just train the obliques how to pull back your legs back to the center. And the obliques can only turn 30 degrees from your center. So we can't go very far with this exercise. The whole exercise is getting the obliques to pull the legs back to the center. The only way to get the legs out of center is just let gravity tip to the side, tighten the abs and pull it up. Let gravity drop it, and then the abs stop it and bring it back to the center. That's all we're doing. It's this tiny little movement. Going big movements is not going to get the oblique stronger. It's going to strain your lower vertebrae. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then come back to the center and remove that ball. And we're going to do spine twist here. So we're going to have our feet and knees together, arms straight out like a T, palms to the ceiling, tuck your shoulders down. And then you're keeping your feet on the floor mostly, but they're going to tip to the side. So one foot might come off, but they're staying together. You're going to drop your knees to the right, only as low as your vertebrae can handle. Your chest and hip might feel a big stretch, but your vertebrae can go, your vertebrae is what we're going for. So some people are going to barely tip down to the side because their back can't twist very far. Some people are going all the way down. Now you can keep your head looking forward to the ceiling, or you can turn it to the left, and then you're in a full spine twist here. And again, you don't do anything that feels uncomfortable, painful. You do everything that feels safe and stretchy, like, oh, that feels nice. I didn't know my back could feel this good. You want in that zone, not like, oh my gosh, when is she going to tell us to stop? This is painful. Never, ever would I encourage an exercise like that. We don't have to. Our body does these amazing things, and it has these little body hacks and mechanisms where we can change our bodies slowly through time and consistency. So we never have to force anything. You have nice tight abs. Bring your head forward, bring your knees forward, readjust your back, tuck those shoulders, and then you're going to drop to the left only as far as your spinal cord can go. Again, some people are going to barely be able to move their knees to the side. Some people will go all the way down. Make sure you feel what's comfortable for your vertebrae. And then if you want, you can look straight forward or you turn to the right and have a full vertebrae twist. And this is good because it allows the synovial fluid to be called out, like, hey, we're using our vertebrae, let's put some fluids in there. But it also is pulling on all the ligaments and tendons right now. And so it's making them have to attach to your vertebrae stronger. And that's what we want, because when it feels the need to attach, it will force the bone density to anchor that attachment better. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice tight abdominals. Bring your head forward, bring your knees forward, readjust your back. Next here is going to be ball squeeze. We have the ball again, or a pillow, or a sock. We're going to have our feet together. That's very important to have the feet together because it determines what our hips are doing. If our feet are too far, our hips are too inward rotated, so we need the feet together. Level 1, feet are on the floor. Level 2, ball is over the hips with 90-degree knees and flexed feet. We're going to squeeze the ball 20 times slow, get a quick little break, and then squeeze the ball 20 times fast. So we're having the ball between the knees. And ready? Nice tight abs. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Little break right here. And remember, you got to keep the knees over the hips or go just straight down to level 1. Okay, here we go. Bringing the feet together on both levels. Tight abs. We're going to go 20 fast. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Nice job. Okay, take the ball out. Feet are on the floor together. Nice tight abdominals. And then you're going to open those knees apart. Roll the bottoms of the feet together. If you can't go this high and the feet don't go together, that's fine. But we want to go ahead and open that. We want tight abs, tight pelvic floor, so you're not arcing your back. We want to make sure you're pressing so that the pelvic is nice and open and the correct parts are the ones doing the stretching. Yeah, that's good. Relaxing the shoulders. We're almost done. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice tight abs and bring it together. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move now to crunches. So we're going to work on the abdomen here. There are 2 levels we have. Level 1, if you have osteoporosis and your doctor says no crunches for you, you're going to have your feet shoulder width apart, hands on your abdomen, and keeping your head on the ground. You're going to push your belly button to the spine, contracting the abdomen and relax, crunching, pushing the belly button to the spine and relax. And just really feel the contraction and release. Feel the contraction and release. If your doctor has not said you have you have osteoporosis or has said it's still okay to do crunches, you can put your hands behind your head. You're going to go as if you have a grapefruit between your chest and your chin, so you're not actively lifting your head around. It's staying nice and sturdy in sync with the rest of your rib cage and neck alignment here. You're going to use your abdominals to visualize pulling the rib cage towards the hips and then bringing it back down. And contract the abdominals and then pull the rib cage towards the hips and bring it back down. So we're going to go ahead and keep going here. And you breathe out on the way up and in on the way down. Feel free to contract your pelvic floor. So we want the pelvic floor engaged. And then your heels are nice and firm on the ground. And you're visualizing your belly button pushes towards the floor as your rib cage pulls you towards the hips. And the head coming off the ground is just an illusion that my neck is doing anything, but my neck is staying perfectly still. It is my abdominals that are rounding my rib cage forward, lifting my head off the ground because I'm keeping my head neutral. Some people, when they're brand new to crunches and they just don't have a lot of abdominal strength, they're just not going to lift very high because the rib cage, they don't have the muscles to pull the rib cage forward that much. And that's okay. And as you get stronger and you get more consistent, the rib cage starts to bend forward more and you lift higher and higher. So it's really just about how can we get the rib cage to be folded in using our abdominals. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you're coming on down here and we get to do reverse crunches. Bring your both legs up to the ceiling. Feet are nice and flexed. You're going to bring your arms up facing your shins and you're going to flex those feet. You're going to have your legs over your hips and then you're going to try to bring their shins over the chest, over the hips, over the chest, over the hips. So you're just, if you have to at first, just kind of swing back and forth as long as it's safe for your back and you're not going crazy. You can swing back just a little bit. Otherwise, you're really just trying to contract that lower abdominal and release it. Contract the lower abdominal and slowly release it. And that's all you're doing is just going back and forth, keeping the shoulders tucked. Those arms are staying nice and still so that it can be a goal for your shins to get to, because some people, when they first start, they can barely get to the shins. And so this becomes a goal that the body knows where it's headed. You're almost done. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go ahead, straighten out those legs, knees and toes to the ceiling. We're going to bring our arms with about 12 inches width of hands over the head, which if we were standing, it'd be overhead right here on the ground, side of the scalp, something like that. Anyways, hopefully if you see the video, you can see that I'm all stretched out. And we're just doing our pose here that allows gravity to adjust all of our vertebrae, adjust our shoulders, hips, our knees. Such a great stretch, working with gravity on the hard floor. It turns out the floor is our friend. And then when we treat it like an enemy, it will punch back at us. So we want to make sure we stay on friendly terms with the floor. And that's why it's great that you guys show up for a floor exercise. Kudos to yourself. Be proud of yourself. We're almost done. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bringing that down, the arms down, bring the feet back up. We're going to move on to our shoulder work. So really, we're doing our shoulders blades is what we're actually doing. We're really working with the shoulder blades. The idea is we're trying to train our shoulder blades to pull back towards the spinal cord and push down towards the hips so that it stays in place, so that our rotator cuff in our arms have the ability just to become the ball and socket it's supposed to be. And then the muscles are moving the arm through the use of the ball and socket. So we're not trying to just do a whole bunch of weight so that we can grind our rotator cuff. So if you haven't done it before and you're not sure how to do this, you can go without weights today and just work on the form and really just work on holding the shoulder blades in place. It's really all this is about. If you've done this a million times with me, you can go ahead and grab your weights. You can go really light if you still need to work on your shoulder blade. If I haven't been correcting you and you're like, it's time for heavier weight, have at it. but whatever happens, it's got to be all about the shoulder blades here. So you're going to tuck your shoulder blades towards the floor, and you're going to bite your shoulder blades like the mat. Visualize the sides of your shoulder blades like teeth, and then trying to bite the mat here. You're going to bring your arms straight up over your chest, not over your collarbone, not over your neck. This isn't a collarbone and neck press. This is a chest press. So it's going to be lower. If you were looking straight up to the ceiling, it would be way lower below your staring line. Visualize you have a really wide rolling pin that matches up just on the outer where your rotator cuff is. So it's wide. It's not narrowed over your chest. It's wide next to your chest. And really locking down those shoulder blades, you're going to bring your elbows down to the floor, keeping the wrists over your elbows the whole time, so they're not leaning towards your chest. The wrists stay over the elbows. Really shove those shoulder blades into the floor and push straight up back to the ceiling, parallel arms again. Tuck shoulder blades, come on down, elbows to the floor, tuck shoulder blades, push on up. On the way up, you're squeezing those blades towards your spinal cord. On the way down, you're squeezing it towards the spinal cord. You want your shoulder blades to be more tired than your chest, especially because we're going such light weight. You want to feel all the effort in the blades. We want to train the shoulder blades how to be under control while the arm is moving forward and back. If those shoulder blades disengage and roll forward with you, you are not creating shoulder stability, and you're increasing the risk for shoulder arthritis, shoulder tendonitis, frozen shoulder, all of those fun rehab things. So you're always tucking the shoulder on the way up, always tucking the shoulders on the way down. And you're just keeping that wrist over the elbows the whole time. You have to have control of what's happening to your arms in space by making the shoulder blade the foundation of all the movement pattern. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, before you drop down, I would like you to pull your elbows down to the floor, and I want you to stop and look at your arms. And are they near your chest, or is your wrist over your elbows? Is the weights at your chest level where we'd be doing a chest press, or is it up high where your shoulders are? All these little details matter because it determines what the strength of your shoulder blade is creating. And so we really want to pay attention to that. So next, we want to go ahead and work on our triceps, but we're not just doing triceps, we're working on the shoulder blade, holding the upper arm so that our arm can move. If our shoulder blade's not locked in correctly, our neck will take over and the upper arm's going to move around. We don't want this upper arm. We want it as if someone is holding our arm and we are locked into place and the elbow is opening and closing. So I'm going to grab the weights, both arms parallel to each other. I shove my shoulders, trying to bite the bench or mat of the floor, and I tighten my abdominals, relax my neck and shoulders, no tension in the neck. I'm going to bring my elbows down to the side of my face. While it's here, I'm going to check, are my elbows parallel or are they flared out? Are my elbows pointing to the ceiling or are they pointing to the crown molding? I want them at the ceiling and I want them parallel. I'm going to shove those shoulders towards my hips and straighten my arms again. I'm going to bend down towards my face, check my elbows and tuck my shoulders and bring it up. My shoulders are going to be engaged this whole time. And by the time I'm done with this, my shoulder blades will be tired because they've been in a contracted state for so many reps here. And I'm just keeping my arms parallel. I'm keeping my neck wide open and relaxed. There's zero tension in my neck, zero tension in the tops of my shoulders. Everything is all happening in my shoulder blades, right between my heart in my back and right at the bottom of my shoulder blades. Everything's all locked into place so that I can create a foundation for my arms to be stable and not use my rotator cuff as a leverage point, creating micro tears and future arthritis. And then all of that, and I have to breathe. So you should feel this in the back of your arm tricep if you're doing this correctly. And again, this upper arm is staying perfectly still. No movement in this upper arm. It's staying perfectly still, like somebody is holding it. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you can bring that down. So last one on our shoulder blade excursion here, we're going to be grabbing one weight. You're going to hold the sides of the bell. This is the handle, and the two sides are the bells, and that's why they're called dumbbells. We're going to have our arms overhead. So we're working a muscle that is on the side attached to your shoulder blade here, and then it attaches to your rib cage here, called the serratus anterior. This muscle here pulls down into your rib cage, your shoulders here, and it opens up the front of your rotator cuff, allowing the ball and socket to flow nicely. So when we have strong muscles here, we take all the pressure off that front shoulder. We're going to grab that weight, lock out the elbows, tuck the shoulders down, and we're going to go overhead as far as we can go while keeping our shoulders down, while keeping those elbows straight. The second the elbows need to bend, you have to stop there, shove your shoulders towards your hips, towards the floor, engage your serratus anterior, and come back over your chest again. I cannot stress, your neck needs to be shoved down, blades trying to bite that mat, and elbows straight. Those three things have got to work together, or the serratus anterior won't work and the top of your neck will take over. You have to have the elbows straight. If the second it bends, the tricep and rear delt just seem to get engaged there, and the serratus anterior will duck out. And you can even feel this if you just did one arm at a time. You can feel right when the serratus anterior takes over, and you're visualizing most of the effort coming through the elbow, but keeping the elbow locked in place. You're not really visualizing the weight pulling over as much as the elbows. That way we lock into the serratus anterior here. Some people can go all the way down to the floor, and if I didn't have my port, my right arm could, but the goal is eventually to get all the way down to the floor and over the chest, but really to shove those shoulder blades, feel that serratus anterior working. You'll feel those armpit muscles working. Some people can barely go over their eyebrows and then back over. That's okay, as long as the serratus anterior is working. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that weight down. Excellent job, everybody. Let's go ahead and just stretch out our arms just for a moment, straight overhead, because we did a lot of work there. We had our serratus anterior, your lats all having to hold down everything. So that was really nice. Great job, everybody. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get ready to come onto our back. I'm sorry, not our back. We're on our back. We're going to get ready to get onto our belly. We're going to stretch our quadriceps and do the half cobras so that we're stretching our lower back and our hip flexors here. So tighten your abdominals and get onto your belly. Now, some people are going to have lower back issues. Just do what feels safe at that point. But if my strap here. If you need a strap, now would be the time to get one handy. We're going to lay on our belly and we're going to grab the right foot and bring the heel towards our butt. If you cannot do that, you're going to get a strap and you're going to put it around your foot and untangle the strap and then bring it up and then bring it towards your butt, not to the outside of your butt and not to the inside of your butt. You want to try to line that heel right up to the buttocks there. Again, if you don't need the strap, then don't worry about it. I'm showing the strap so that people who can't do it have an example of what to do. And this is just a great exercise. I'm sorry, a stretch or an exercise, but it's a great stretch to get the hip flexor straightened out. When we sit a lot, we tend to have very tight hip flexors and tight quads. And this is one way to stretch them out. The interesting thing about quads is there's 4 muscles, but only one crosses the knee and the hip. The rest all one or the other. And so this is about the only stretch that they have that stretches the quads, whether you're standing, laying sideways, or standing up. This is about it. This is about all you can do to stretch all 4 quads, which to me is fascinating. Okay, release that tension. And then you're going to grab your left foot. And if you can grab it, go for it. And then if you need a strap, grab your strap. And you're going to do it on the other side. So grab your foot and you pull it back. And this is just a great stretch. I love this one. You can tell that there's a lot of tightness in that hip there, and it's so good to get that tightness out of there. You'll sometimes see when you're looking at people and they're standing, you'll see that their shoulders and head are a little forward of their hips, and you can see they're kind of forward leaning. And we know that that's this muscle here that's a little too tight, pushing their whole torso forward. So this helps us to stay nice and upright. Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So now we're going to bring our feet onto the floor. And you're going to bring your big toes together and your heels apart. Big toes together, heels apart. You're going to bring your elbow under your shoulder, and then your elbow in line with your wrist, palms down. You want your wrist and forearms parallel to each other. We're going to be getting ready to do half cobra, so we want to be looking kind of down on our mat right now. We're going to tuck our shoulders down towards our hips, and then when we're ready, we're going to lift our chin up into the half cobra. Once the chin is up, there is no turning the head. So please do not turn the head once we lift the chin, because then your whole spine is nice and stretched out, and we don't want to create any problems at all. But this is going to be a lower vertebrae stretch. If you had a herniated disc or stenosis, this one's also in the top tier ones you want to do, but you have to do it correctly. So we're going to tuck shoulder blades and then pull the chin up. And then once the chin is up, no turning to the side. You got to look forward, look forward. We're not going up looking towards the ceiling or the crown molding. We're just kind of at the baseboards looking. We're not going to go too crazy with this one. We just want to feel it in our lower back, stretching out those little vertebrae, that when we lean forward all day, we sit forward, we're putting a lot of tension on that. So we just kind of want to stretch out those ligaments so that we can stand up straighter naturally. Keeping the shoulders down, keeping the chin up, no turning, no turning. So if someone's like, look at me, don't look right now. You can use your eyeballs, but don't use your face. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull that chin down, pull the chest down, and then we are nice and safe that we can move around again. So let's go ahead and get onto our hands and knees. We're going to tuck those shoulders down. Let's see, how am I facing here? Okay, so we're going to go nice flat back, tuck shoulders down, tight abs, and we're going to do donkey kicks first. So we're going to shift the weight to the left leg. No, we're going to shift the weight to the right leg, tuck shoulders, tight abs. We're going to raise the heel, the right heel, left heel to the ceiling, drop the left hip, tighten the abdominals, and then we're going to kick the heel up and then bring the knee down. Kick the heel up, bring the knee down. If you're doing this correctly, you will barely be able to lift your knee level to your torso. If you're lifting it way higher, then chances are you're moving your spinal cord. If you're moving your spinal cord, that would be the wrong exercise we're doing. We want to really keep our hip nice and parallel to the floor so that our glute and hamstrings are directly working against gravity properly. and that they have the correct muscles that we're trying to engage. If we're swinging our back, then we're working into our lumbar back, and that's just not what we're after right now. Having the stability is more important. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring the left knee down, shifting the weight to the left knee, bringing the right leg up, flexing the heel, square your hip to the floor, tighten your abs, tuck your shoulders, and kick your heel to the ceiling and bring it down. Again, you're really just trying to keep your hip nice and square to the floor so that the hip is perfectly still, the back and torso perfectly still. This forces the glute and hamstring to lift the weight of the leg. That's what we're after. This is how we get stronger hips, not the fancy little videos where the back is flinging all over and we're lifting our legs as high as possible. They might have some utility in it, but not really. This is the way you grow your hips. Nice tight abs, really squeezing the butt. You have 3, 2, 1, and come on down. We're going to go right into a child pose, sitting your butt on your heels, and then stretching out your arms, and then trying to get your forehead to the ground. And if you can't get it to the ground, then you're just going to get your elbows and just wait, because we want to get the hips to the heels more than we want the forehead to the ground. So if you're prioritizing forehead to the ground, your butt's way high, I'm going to challenge you, get your head off the ground and get your hips to your heels. We really got to get that hip nice sunk down. So prioritize the hip folding, not the head to the ground. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice tight abs. We're going to come right up to our hands and knees again. We're going to tuck the shoulders, and we're going to do over the rainbow, tuck shoulders. So we're going to bring our right leg out level to we're going to bring our right leg out, flex the foot. Okay. And then we're going to visualize our foot going to the corner of the mat, tightening our abs, keeping the hip nice and square. We're lifting the leg, and we're going to tap to the other side of the mat, tightening the abs, lifting and tapping to the other side. So we're just going to go back and forth, but here's the key. You can't move your spinal cord. You got to keep it nice and still. So you're not moving your hips and your back. It's staying nice and still. And then you say to me, but Carissa, then how do I get my leg over? With muscles inside your hip. That's how you do it. And if you feel like you can barely go from 1 inch to another, you're just going inch by inch, then just let it be an inch by inch today. Learn how to control the thigh bone inside the hip socket. Don't use your spine to move your legs. Don't move your spine to move your hip. Use your hip as an anchor spot and a foundation to move your thigh with muscles. That's what we have to do. You have 3, 2, 1. Bring that knee back down, tucking those shoulders, shifting the weight, tighten the abs, bring the left leg out, drop that hip, tighten those abs, and we're going to do that again. Over the rainbow. Tap, lift the leg, tap to the corner, and then tap to the corner. So when you're first learning it, you may barely go inch by inch, just back and forth over the rainbow. As you get stronger, you're going to go bigger and bigger with your abs nice and tight, your hip nice and still, and not letting your spinal cord wiggle. Keeping the shoulders tucked, really tighten the abdominals. Keep that toe pointing to the floor. Keep the hip pointing to the floor. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, come on down. We're going to thread the needle. So we're going to put our right arm through the left arm, dropping our right shoulder and face to the floor. And this time our butt gets to be high in the air, palms up to the ceiling. You can have your left hand either the 90 degrees hold or straight over the head, thumb to the ceiling. Your choice, whatever feels most comfortable to you. Right now, we're just stretching out the spine and the hip. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice tight abdominals. And bringing the left arm through the right arm, dropping the hip, not the hip, dropping the shoulder, tucking the shoulder, palm is up, hands either the 90 degrees, straight out, thumb to the ceiling. Your choice. This is just a nice little spine twist again, all while still stretching out our hip. You guys are doing great. We're almost near the end on this one too. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice tight abdominals. Come on up. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get ready for fire hydrants. And we're almost done. So this is our last exercise, then a stretch, and then we get to be done. We're almost near the end. Tucking shoulders, tight abs, shifting your weight to the left leg. You're going to keep the right leg 90 degrees and you're bringing out the heel and the knee straight out. And we're just going straight out, keeping that hip nice and square to the floor. You may barely lift that leg out when you're first learning this because this is a muscle deep inside the hip. What we normally want to do is we normally want to turn our whole torso. And again, our torso ends up being the one moving the leg. We don't want that. We want the hip in charge of moving the leg. This pays off in many ways. It keeps our hormones nice and going when we have strong hips and legs. Our testosterone, our human growth hormones are higher. And when we have more muscles in our hips, we have better cognition, better health, longevity. And when our hips are strong, we have a lower risk of breaking bones should we fall. And again, these are all just statistics based on studies. We're all individuals. So, some of us have better lot in life than others. But this is what we can do to kind of mitigate some of those things. You have one more after this one. And bring it on down. Okay, going to go to the other side. Tucking shoulders, tight abs, square hip to the floor, and lift that leg and knee. Keep that hip nice and down. And you're just going to feel it right deep inside the hip socket when done correctly. Belly button faces the floor, hip faces the floor. None of the torso is twisting. All of that staying nice and still. Everything that's happening is deep inside the hip. And we're breathing. Shoulders are tucked. Abs are tight. A smile on our face. Oh, burning in the butt. Keep that hip forward, tight abs, tuck shoulders. 2 more to go. 1 more to go. And just when you think it should be a child pose, it's not. We're going to do half runner's lunge. We're going to put our right foot on the outside of our right hand. Oh, I'm throwing all my balls everywhere here. Tuck those shoulders and just stretch out that hip. This is such a great hip stretch. This is definitely a life goal you want to have, is to be able to get this hand right next to it. Of course, eventually we tuck the toes, lift the leg and drop the hip and really get into the whole hip, but not today. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bring that knee down, tighten your abdominals, and bring the left foot on the outside of the foot, the left foot on the outside of the left hand, tuck your shoulders, and feel that nice stretch. So we're almost at the end of our workout here. Tomorrow, I don't have any new videos, but I technically will. I have all the week's videos will be up tomorrow. So you can choose from any of the videos from this week and do your own exercises. And if you're curious, you can just go to my webpage. No, not my webpage, my YouTube page where I'm posting all the videos. Okay, come on down. We're going to sit crisscross here, finish out those hips. Sit on your sitting bones here, not your tailbone. So when you round your back, you sit on the tailbone. That's owie, no bueno, bad for the spinal cord, bad for the nervous system. You want to pull the rib cage up, pull that pelvic floor nice and level, and you want to be on the 2 sitting bones there. And that gets you away from your tailbone, allowing all the vertebrae in the nervous system to work correctly without miscommunication. So imagine all day sitting on your recliner and couch. What are you sitting on, your sitting bone or your tailbone? This becomes the crux of what's going on with our hip, what's going on with our vertebrae. So we're just holding that down. We're almost done here. I hope you enjoyed it. We are done, and I will see you next week.